Hey guys, Saber back. I got a new Get a Life video. This one's called In-Game Maturity. This one's gonna be a bit more longer than the other ones because it's quite a packed topic. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. First off, we gotta start off with age means very little in game. So what I mean by this is that if you are a 12-year-old but you can act with a certain level of maturity in game, then age means nothing. Because I have seen younger people act way beyond their age in terms of maturity, and I've seen older people act very, very immaturely in game as well. And so what this means is that it's not a matter of age or experience, it's a matter of what you have experienced. So in that sense of, you know what is appropriate at certain times and what is inappropriate at certain times, and that comes with experience, which tends to be, you have more chances to get these experiences as you live longer, in which case age does play a little bit of a role. But if you have not experienced these things, it doesn't matter how long you live if you don't experience these things. And so in that way, age means very little more than experience does. And then another thing is language. So by language, I don't necessarily mean the very multicultural different languages such as English or Mandarin or Cantonese or any other Asian or maybe European languages that you speak, but more of language that you choose to use in your day-to-day conversations. So if you are talking with someone online and you choose every other word to be a curse word or like a big F you to everyone, then that's you. That's all you, but then that says a lot about your maturity and more than obviously your vocabulary and how little selection you have in order to get your point across to certain people. And so when you choose to use certain words like that, you get associated into this group of people that just are, again, don't know the proper place and time to use those certain words. So if you use a word too much, then it just kind of says you have no idea what the word actually means or when it should be used. And so again, language is another issue in game that kind of ties into maturity, that if you don't know when or how to use it, you're just going to overuse it, or just don't use it at all. Rather, that would be a better alternative, in my opinion. Another thing is racism. So this one is very dear to my heart. I am an Asian, so not too much of a big deal, but there has been one particular individual that whenever I go into a game online in a public match, this man happens to find me, man, child, whatever the hell he is, or she is, I don't know, not segregating or anything, but this person continuously decides to just go out with racial slurs and just constantly talk, badmouth Gurren Brigade, basically, and he talks about how most of the leaders, or says that most of the leaders are racist, which of course are all fabrications of this sick individual. I don't know why he finds joy in doing this, but he's been going around, and many of you may have met with this person in online or heard of him. I don't really care who he is or what he does with his life, but this kind of bothers me, not because he is targeting Gurren Brigade or me or any of the other my other leaders in Gurren Brigade specifically, but because he chooses to do it in a way that degrades a certain race of people. Now, I don't care if he is, say, a black man himself, because he very, very just throws out the N-word all over the place. And I don't care if you are a person of African American descent, a person of Asian descent, or a person of Caucasian descent. That word is tied to a lot of pain and a lot of bad memories for a lot of people in the past. And it just using that word as a way to get your point across doesn't really speak maturity to me. It kind of means that you have no better way of trying to get your point across, regardless of how stupid it may be and pointless, that you have to degrade an entire race of people and bring up an entire past of pain and suffering in order to get your point across, which it's very stupid and pointless. I don't understand why someone would go to that extent just for the sake of his own gain or personal need, or even if it is a joke, it's a sick joke. I mean, I don't understand it. It's really, really irritating to me to see people just throw around the N-word and say, oh, but I'm black, it's okay. No, it's not okay. Just because you're okay with it doesn't mean an entire nation of people who have suffered through something, just because you haven't, doesn't mean it's okay to bring up the past memories for them. And I feel like that is just completely inappropriate. And again, maturity ties into this, because you need to know when and where to use certain words. And in this case, the N-word shouldn't be really used anywhere or anytime, because it is completely inappropriate. There's no reasonable application for it. Even rappers, I feel like rappers just kind of throw the word around too much, that it kind of just numbs people to the actual meaning and history behind the certain word. And so, like, I guess that's my spiel on the N-word in game. Another thing about in-game maturity is smack talking versus skill shaming. And so this one's a bit of a broad spectrum, because smack talking can be fun. I smack talk with a lot of my guild members. I smack talk with a lot of my other in-game players, and it's fun. It's whatever. If everyone's okay with it, smack talking is fine. But like when it gets to a certain level where you start smack talking a certain person with a malicious intent, that you don't really know them, you don't really care for them, and you want to smack talk them in order to degrade who they are. And so the reason smack talking deserves some level of maturity when you do it is that you have to understand there's also a time and a place and a way to do this. So when you're smack talking a particular player and they're not very good, and you're just smack talking them, I feel like that's no longer smack talking. That turns into a form of cyberbullying. And I know that's a bit extreme, but it literally is. It is what it is. It's cyberbullying. You're bullying someone online for their lack of skill or for their lack of time spent in game to kind of build up their proficiency in game. And so you're basically degrading them in a way that kind of pushes them away from wanting to play this game or learning how to play. And so there's a difference between trying to help someone to get those skills and from trying to just degrade them for the fact of where they are. And I don't care who the hell you are, I don't care if you're SNK Talex, or I don't care if you're Feng himself, nobody starts out perfect. Everyone starts out from a low point, and everyone gradually gets better at different paces. And you have no right whatsoever to judge other people, because no matter what you say, or no matter how much better you are than that person, someone else is better than you, and therefore everyone is in the same grade as you, I guess. So if you were to say, oh, you're not raising your skill fast enough or as fast as me, therefore that makes you less of a person or less of a good player, well, then the same applies to you. I'm sure there's someone out there who is faster at learning things than you, and therefore you're as much of a horrible player as the person you're degrading. If you kind of think of it in that way, it's more of a humbling sense rather than a sense of kind of pushing yourself down. I take it as a humbling sense, because if I see a player that's not doing so well, then I say just keep practicing. If I die and I see them playing and I see like errors in the way they move around, then I'll try to give them pointers. Now there's a difference here when you're in a certain situation where there's, say, like an Aaron player, and this is a very controversial topic. I'm gonna pick my words carefully here. So when there is an Aaron player and they choose to hide in a tree or just hang out in a tree until their Titan form comes on, I don't say get rid of the Aaron noob or like a lot of more degrading ways to tell them to stop playing Aaron. I say you can play Aaron so long as you play the game properly in the way it was meant to be. So if you're spending your time in the tree just waiting for Aaron Titan mode, then you can go into single player and pick Titan Aaron mode and play as long as you like. Because when you go into public games and you start to just hang out in trees and make everyone wait until you get that Aaron Titan and then clear the wave, or more than likely not clear the wave, then you basically waste everyone else's time, which is kind of rude and lacks maturity again. So again, this is the reason it's part of tied into in-game maturity, is that you don't really think about how everyone else is gonna have to wait for you and wait for the timer. I mean, if you want to do that, then fine, but at least try and kill Titans along the way. Because then that was the whole point of this game, right? Not for everyone to wait for Aaron Titan, is to learn how to kill Titans without the use of specials. The specials, when I first started playing the game, you know what? I'll save that for another topic, another day. I have a lot more to go through. So skill shaming along with smack talking is another thing I've noticed, is that whenever a certain player like myself or a lot of other very really proficient players go into games where there are players who aren't of the same skill level, there is a certain thing called skill shaming. This is something I've noticed myself, because I've experienced this myself and I've seen it happen to other players as well. A lot of people get irritated with us because I don't want to sound arrogant in any way possible, but there's a certain level where most of the professional players are a bit faster and a bit stronger than the not so professional players, and so that the professional players tend to take quote unquote all the kills. But what the non-proficient players don't understand is that when proficient players don't go at their fullest, or at least for myself, when I don't play at my best, then I don't feel like I'm having fun. And so that's the whole reason we play this game, right? To have fun. And I understand that as a not so professional player, if all the kills are just being taken left and right and you have nothing to do and no Titans to engage, then A, that lacks giving you time to practice, and B, it also prevents you guys from having fun too. And I understand that, but I feel like there should be a certain level of patience with the pro players and the not so pro players, because as the waves progress, there are more and more Titans, and there's no way that the professional players can take all the Titans in wave 7. Like they're so far spread out that if you just avoid the professional players, then that's fine. And even then, if you ask a professional player, hey, could you leave a few Titans for us, instead of just saying, oh, you're too good, oh, you're showing off, oh, MLG, and then just start bullshitting the sarcasm with them, then it just kind of gets on everyone's nerves, right? You just start a shit fight for nothing. Another thing I've noticed is, another thing I've experienced is, I get into a game and I start playing and I'm just doing whatever. I'm doing my business, I'm playing my game, and then because certain people, I have no idea what they're feeling in this moment, but what happens is I got kicked from a game because I was the last one alive. And this was kind of mind-boggling to me because I didn't quite understand what the reasoning behind it was. Because everyone died, I was by myself, I was clearing the wave as usual, and then I start getting kick votes. And it wasn't 1 or 2 people, it was in a room of 10 people and they got at least 5 votes. And this really bothered me. I wasn't sure if it was myself at fault here, or if I was just being too sensitive and then everyone else was just getting all up in my business, but I don't know. And this is one of the, you know what, comment down below, what do you think? What do you think in that situation the people that voted to kick me were thinking? Because I feel like there was a level of just annoyance of the fact that I was just doing better than them. I don't know if that's just me being arrogant or cocky, and if it is, then call me out for it too. But that's what I felt in the moment. I just really didn't understand. I really couldn't get a grasp on how to take this situation. And so that's something that happens quite often, actually. I guess this is where I'm gonna cut it for the this half of the maturity part of Get a Life, because this is quite a very broad and big topic that there's a lot more I want to talk about, and I'll release that in the second half of this one. Because it's already reached about 12 minutes of me just babbling on. And so just stay tuned, I'll give you the second part soon enough. I'm going back to school actually, and this is a quick little update. And so now I'm going to have a bit less time to actually play and make content, but I'm going to try my best to pump out a lot of these Get a Life videos, because it's a lot easier for me than to make montages. Although my montages are a piece of shit and it's just kind of clips and music thrown together, I'm sorry about that. I'll probably, if I want to work on a more high definition montage, then it's going to take a lot more time and a lot more editing. And so as of now, I wouldn't expect too many videos to be coming out regularly. Maybe a few Get a Life videos and maybe a few small clips of me playing. But besides that, there's not really too much that's going to be happening. I also have a bit of an idea for a new series coming out. Stay tuned for that. I haven't got all the works done yet for it, and I want to make sure everything's there before I launch into it. And so just yeah, stay tuned. See you guys around. And remember, if you're not having fun playing a game, don't play the game.